Hi, students. We are going to continue on with our Thanksgiving story for today. We are on the chapter, The New Land. Now, in our last chapter, where did they land last? They landed in this place called Cape Cod. In which state is it in? Shout it out. Massachusetts, yeah, they landed in Cape Cod, which is in the state of Massachusetts. So the next chapter, The New Land, we are going to probably see how the settlers are going to see what it's like for them. Everyone would have liked to go on shore to walk on the good, firm ground. Ooh, I bet after being on a boat for so long, it'll be nice to see some ground. The women could hardly wait to wash all the dirty clothes, but first some of the men went to see if it was safe. There would be Indians. The settlers had heard all kinds of stories about Indians. So the men carried their weapons. They would not do any harm except to protect themselves. One of the men who went ashore was Miles Standish. He was a soldier, and he had been training some of the men to use their weapons. Another was Stephen Hopkins, father of the Hopkins children. On the Mayflower, Giles, Constance, and Demarius waited and waited for their father to come back. Oceanus slept and slept as babies do. The men waddled through the ice-cold water, pulling the ship's boat up to the beach. They walked along the shore, and there seemed to be nothing but sand and sand and more sand. They cut some sweet-smelling branches of evergreen trees and then took them back to their ship. That night, the settlers had a warm wood fire. Some of the women and children on the Mayflower went ashore as soon as they could and had a wash day. There was a pond of fresh water near the beach. It was good to have clean, fresh clothes again. So they went to the pond and they washed their clothes in the pond, and then they hung their clothes on tree branches. The Mayflower had brought a small sailboat or fishing boat. This had to be taken ashore and mended. Some of the men worked on it. Meanwhile, other men went on looking for corn. They had heard about it from others who had been to this new land. They would trade with the Indians for seeds to plant. If they could not find corn, everyone might get sick of hunger. The seeds they had brought from England might not grow. They looked everywhere. Once they saw some Indians and a dog, but these ran away back into the woods. They kept on looking for corn. No corn, but an old kettle half buried in the sand. A ship's kettle. How did it get there? How do you think that kettle got there? Do you think it was from previous settlers or from Indians? No corn, but a pot hung over the place where a fire had been. No corn, but small hills of sand. The man dug down into one, and there was a little old basket filled with corn. Now they had corn to plant. They found other baskets. These were big baskets, and it took 2 men to carry one. They filled their pockets with corn. Someday they would find the Indians and pay them for it. One day they did see some more Indians. These Indians were not friendly. They shot at the settlers with their bows and arrows. The men shot back with their weapons. After the Indians had gone, the settlers picked up many arrows on the sand. Now the people on the Mayflower decided to sail across the bay and find a place to build their homes. They sent their fishing boat first to a good harbor. Then the Mayflower sailed across to a place marked on the map. It was called Plymouth. These settlers called it the New Plymouth because they had sailed from Plymouth in England. It was a cold December day when some of the settlers landed. Once again, they kneeled and gave thanks for their safe for their safe travel, and for their food. This was a good place for homes. Indians had lived here. There were fields where corns had been grown. There was rich black earth for planting and plenty of fresh water. And that was the end of the chapter. I think it was called The New Land, but let me double check. Yes, The New Land. And in our next chapter, we are going to be reading New Homes in the New Land. So what do you think that chapter is going to be about? It's going to be probably them settling on this new land called Plymouth. So I can't wait to read about it next time with you guys. Bye.